All right, guys. All right. Hey, guys. Welcome to our Healthy for Life team call tonight. I am excited to be jumping on and sharing with you guys some information about the value of free groups. And I am just going to jump in and go ahead and get started. I do have some slides that I'm going to share with you guys and just pretty much talk with you guys about what I personally do with running free groups and kind of my format. And then I'm going to kind of just open it up to discussion. And I'd love to hear from you guys on what works for you guys and maybe some things that haven't worked for you. And just I'd love to kind of just hear from you guys different formats that you guys have done when it comes to running free groups. So let's jump right in. I'm going to share my screen here. Can you guys see that okay? Can someone just unmute themselves and let me know that you guys can see that?
Yep, we can.
Perfect. Thanks, Kate. All right, guys. So I'm going to talk with you guys for the next 15, 20 minutes about the value in running free groups. And so for me, I really enjoy this. I really enjoy free groups. I think it's so important that we provide value, we build credibility, we build trust in those relationships that we are, obviously our business is about connecting. And, often these people that we're talking to and we're building relationships with aren't ready to commit right away. So it's so important to start by building that trust and building that relationship. And what better way to do that than in a free group? So why is it important to run free groups? I think it's really great that it can grow your network and gain new customers. Obviously, these free groups are going to hopefully, might not happen right away, but hopefully convert your free group customer into a paid customer. Can you guys go ahead and mute yourselves if you don't mind? Also in free groups, you're creating that value, you're providing them with free, good content, and you're building that trust in with them. So again, that's so key and so important. Our business is about relationship building, and that is where it can start. You can also, with free groups, get new referrals in your business. Just like, when we ask people for referrals in our challenge groups, have those individuals or those people that you're talking with and are coming into your free group, ask them for, 2-3 friends to jump in and join. Those right there are additional connections that you can make down the road. And again, hoping that those individuals will transform into a challenger or even a coach. So again, that is why it's so important, in my opinion, to run free groups, to primarily grow your credibility, to build that trust, and to build that relationship first and foremost. So how do I run free groups? So what I do, just at the beginning of every month, I have I create like a marketing plan where I sit down and I say, this is when my free group is going to start. This is when my challenge group is going to start. I have an idea already of the dates that I'm going to be running those groups. And then I look at when I'm going to need to start advertising that group. So maybe my group is starting the first week in October. So I know that I am going to need to probably start talking about that free group, 1 to 2 weeks before that group starts. So setting that date is so important. The next big thing is you want to figure out what kind of topic or what free group you're going to be doing for that month. And what I like to do is I like to gauge my audience. I like to hear from them what they want to see, what is interest, or what is going to interest them that month. So what's great is we have those like engagement, we have those polls in our social media where we can take a poll and we can ask them what kind of things are they interested in seeing for that month. It doesn't have to be health and fitness related. Sure, clean eating groups are great and they're super beneficial, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. We had a leadership call on Sunday, and I was telling them that one of my groups that I ran in, I think it was March of this year, was a like decluttering of your mind, and it was about just anxiety and how different things that you can do to overcome your anxiety and things, and it's something that I struggle with personally. So it was help. My niche market was benefiting from that, and it was a really, really great group. A lot of engagement, a lot of interest from that. So again, it doesn't have to be just health and fitness related. These are just some examples that I wrote out. Again, clean eating, time management, organization. That could be just for anybody, any crazy busy parent, person who has tons of hats. Great ways and great tips to handle time management and better organization skills. For you parents, different ideas for parenting tips and parenting styles, things like that. I'm currently doing a crockpot group right now that seems to be really popular in the fall, coming into the fall months and back to school. So lots of, people are interested in looking for convenience and just wanting to really, find that help when it comes to back to school and in the fall. And then I put like clean summer meals and drinks. And last month my Team Cup group did another good free group. It was healthy lunches on the go for kids. And we also incorporated like traveling and how to just try to stay on track when you're traveling with kids. And this was just kind of to end out the summer with vacation and back to school. And that was a really good group as well. So those are just some ideas for you when it comes to thinking about the topics that you'd be interested in running those free groups. So I think it's important also to remember that you don't need to reinvent the wheel, and you don't need to create all this new content. What I have found is that I've run crockpot groups before. And for example, I ran a crockpot group in October of last year, and most of that content I saved, I put it in a Word document, and I use it for future groups. So you don't necessarily have to, every time you run a free group, have to create all of this new information. So that is something that I encourage you to do is, once you create that content, save it somewhere, save it on your computer, and then you can use it at a later date. Again, the importance of setting your start date and advertising for it. Once you advertise for it and you start to get the engagement, I then add them into a closed Facebook group. And right at the beginning, I do a live video. I welcome everybody. I set kind of the expectations of the group. I go over kind of the outline of what the week is going to look like. I have them introduce themselves. I encourage them often to go live, but sometimes, that can be uncomfortable for people. But I want to know kind of who is in the group and what they want to get out of the group. Again, the goal here is to establish trust and develop those relationships. That is the number one goal here. And it gives them the opportunity to see your energy, see your excitement, and hopefully be able to transform into that 30-day group, that 21-day challenge group that you're going to be running in the next couple of weeks or in the next month. You want them to see that just excitement and that how much fun your groups can be. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I'm just using a clean eating group as an example of how I would set up the group. Again, depending on your topic, it might differ. So for a clean eating group, I would run a clean eating group for about 7 days, and I would open it probably that Friday, maybe that Saturday morning, because I often, that Saturday and Sunday before Monday starts, I often like to talk with them about meal planning and grocery shopping and giving them that prep prior to starting the group. That weekend, I also would upload meal plans and recipes before the first day. I would upload it like in the file of the group that I created on Facebook. In the clean eating groups, I do often talk about Shakeology. It's certainly not required because it's a free group, but I want them to know that that is something that I do. It's part of my daily routine. It's something that I love. And again, we are trying to create those breadcrumbs and start to talk with them about kind of what we do on a regular basis. I also will talk about workouts and how incorporating active working out is going to be something that, you know, is important as well, not only just the nutrition side of things. And then I set the expectations. At the beginning, I will say, you know, I want you to check in. I want you to check into the group. I want you to rate your day. I want you to be posting pictures of your foods. Like, I don't want it to just be me posting, and then crickets. Yes, you may have groups like that, but sometimes when you set the expectations in the beginning, you can often find that more people will respond and complete the assignments. I do often use Hootsuite to schedule my posts throughout the day during the week when I'm working. And then I make time every evening to check into the group, to comment, to interact, and to just make sure that questions are answered that have been responded to based on the post. So for clean eating groups, some of the posts and things that we would talk about are like portion sizes. I may even bring in the 21-day fix and the portion meal planning in there, healthy snack options, emotional eating, late night cravings, going out to eat. All of those different things are different topics that I may use in that 5 to 7 day clean eating group. The other thing that I do is throughout the week, I private message each person in the group to check in. Yes, I'm still commenting and interacting in the group, but I want to give those people that individual attention as well. I want to check in with them, and I want to, you know, see how are they liking the group? You know, what are they learning? Are they struggling with anything? You know, what do they find helpful in the group, just to kind of figure out, you know, what's happening. And again, we're building that relationship. So we're trying to figure out what drew them to this group. You know, what is it that they need help with? What can we do to help them with their goals? Again, also in the group, I'm sharing what I'm doing. I'm sharing food choices. I'm sharing how I'm feeling, because we are proof, you know, vital behavior being proof the product works. We are leading by example. So I am also in those groups participating and posting just right alongside with them. And then at the end of the week, usually Sunday, I go in again and make a video thanking them and just, you know, letting them know how much I appreciate them participating in the group. And that is when I bring in the discussion of my upcoming challenge group. So I may just, you know, tell them, you know, that I would love to continue working with them. You know, we're just kind of scratching the surface, you know, and this is just kind of the beginning to so many other things. And then I say to them, this is the challenge group start date. You know, if you want more information, please comment below, and I would love to chat with you more about it. I also message them as well in a private message, and talk with them about the upcoming group. Are you going to get everybody in those free groups to transition into a paid group? Probably not. If you are somebody that does that, that's awesome. I need to probably talk to you, because I don't. It takes time. You know, obviously you're going to have people that join more than one free group, and that's okay. Again, you're generating that trust, and they're following you for a reason. They're following you for your tips, your guidance, and hopefully when they're ready, they'll be able to commit and join your challenge group or your paid group. So I do also do different free groups each month. Like I said, I don't do the same one every month. Some people like to just run clean eating groups every month, and that's totally fine. but whatever works for you.
All right. Come here, Noel.
Okay. I know there's probably some questions here on like requirements of what I actually do, and everybody is different, and that's totally okay. In the beginning, I do ask them if they're working with a coach. Always do. If they are, let me make this here. Okay, sorry about that. All right, I do, ask them if they're working with a coach. If they are, I usually just politely say, you know, I would refer you, but no, I'm not talking about somebody in my like downline organization. I'm talking about like just another coach and on another team. I do just refer them back to their coach. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. And I just politely, you know, refer them back to their coach to say, you know, they're probably running, you know, free groups and things like that. Another thing that I do is I make sure that I set my free group towards the beginning of the month, because my goal is to hit Success Club every month. So I want to make sure that I'm also, you know, focusing on my challenge group and my paid groups as well, because, you know, we still are business owners and we still have goals. And yes, those free groups are important. We're building those relationships, but we also need to remember that we still have, you know, our Success Club goals and the other business goals we've set for the month. So I do often set my group for the first Monday or even the second Monday of the month. And then the last thing that I do is I have them create a free account under me. And by doing that, you know, they're just joining under you. They don't have to pay anything. But by doing that is when they're ready to order or to join you, they're already assigned under you. So that's my only requirement when I have them join my free group. And then again, guys, just remember that there are going to be people that join every month, probably. I have some of those people and they still haven't committed. My thoughts on it is that, you know, I'm here to help people in whatever, you know, wherever I can, to provide content that hopefully is inspiring to them, and you know they have an area that they're struggling in, so hopefully this is helping them. Don't get discouraged. You know, you may have a group that is just not very good that month. I know I've had plenty of them. I've had really great groups and I've had really bad groups, but just take the time to learn from it, self-reflect, and then, you know, maybe, you know, it's just was not the right topic for that month or just wasn't the right timing. But again, I do encourage you to really focus on setting those free groups and, you know, making that commitment and consistency, because you will be surprised on that transition to paid customers. So I think that's all I had. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say is I don't run, some people I know in the past have run like longer free groups than a week. I wouldn't recommend that. And the only reason I say that is because you're already providing a week filled of content, free content. And I think that's a lot of time on your part, a lot of energy on your part. So I would recommend just sticking to a week. But again, that's my opinion. If you have found that longer groups work, then by all means, you know, go for it. So that is all I had, guys. I was trying to talk fast to leave time for open discussion, and just I'd love to hear from you guys to you know, what has worked for you guys, you know, maybe your format of free groups, or, you know, what you've had success with as well when it comes to creating those free groups. So feel free to unmute yourself and ask away. Stop share here.
Hi guys, I'll be the first one to go because, you know, Caitlin doesn't want to just sit there and stare at all of us while nobody talks. First of all, great content, Caitlin. For me, like I struggle with free groups mainly because I really love to do things face to face with people. But I found with free groups, like you said, the shorter content has been better. And something I just want to kind of add here is a couple coaches on our team got to like earn a Success Club call last month with Lindsay Matway, and she was talking about how focusing, like, I guess the question would be, well, what kind of free group do I run? Which I think is a common question for a lot of coaches, because you're like, well, then I have to find content, and how am I going to do that? And maybe it's an extra stress in this business, but you don't need it to be that way. Something she shared with us is to really just focus on things that make you who you are. Like she did a vision board one because she needed to make her own vision board. So it doesn't necessarily have to be clean eating or whatever the trend is, because I feel like you see a lot of some of that stuff on social media, but it can be so much about you and what you got going on in your life right now. I know, like, Caitlin has done some really good ones about things that have nothing to do with health and wellness, that have to do with like emotional needs and taking care of yourself that way too. So there's always like different groups that you can come up with. And I think for me personally, like when I was doing groups that were free, I made sure that it was all stuff that had to do with what I had going on in my life at that time. So just a little kind of drop in here on that front is suggesting that you don't have to always do health and fitness related. The goal of free groups is to really build relationships, right? So you can do that with whatever you've got going on in your life, so you don't have to think about it being stressful and making all this extra content. So that's my 2 cents. I'd love to hear from some other fabulous coaches on this call right now. What is working for you guys with free groups?
I don't really know what might be working because I'm slow on the upstart here. But I'm kind of wondering what the difference is now between free groups and what we've heard a lot of people talk about with these communities. Because I started a free group trying to get people interested in using the 14-day free trial. And then I've just kind of continued it because as we were hearing in different calls and different meetings about people just kind of keeping one big group as a community and then continuing to grow it. So I'm not really having success either way right now.
Yeah, and I can't add to that because I have never, I've heard so many people taking just one page, or I've even heard of people just using the same page, deleting the content and using that same, like keeping the people in it and then just adding, people in the next month. I've heard that too. I know some people on the call, I don't know if Allison's on the call or not. She has done a group, and actually I think she still has like healthy mom, like busy mom, like different recipes. You're probably in it, Erin. And I think it's been ongoing for quite some time, and it's very engaging, and there's a lot of great content in it. But it wasn't a 5 to 7 day group. So I know people do that, do kind of keep an ongoing group. And she would have to probably speak more to her format of that and who she adds into that and kind of her requirements. But I personally have never done that. I have stuck with a 5 to 7 day group, and then just my focus has always been just kind of on the follow-up and just the engagement with those individuals and kind of focusing on their needs. And again, I do often have people join the next month and the next month, before they're ready to commit. And I don't take them. I don't say, no, that's it. Like, choose your limit. I don't do that, but.
So are you constantly then re-advertising and then just getting new people, or are you constantly re kind of putting in the other people that have been with you before, or do you automatically roll people over? Or
I don't, unless they tell me. So I advertise for the new group each month, and I don't add those prior people unless they request it, unless they tell me that they're interested and they want to be added. Oh, Allison's listening, but she can't talk. She just messaged. So.
I'm in.
Yes, please do.
Okay. So I have had a community page going for quite some time, like a while, and it started out with just like a challenge group, but then I just kept it going because I needed it, everybody else. And I've had the same people in there for a while. But what I have started to do now is more of the free group side, but I include those market challengers as well if they want to be a part of it. But I'm also changing the content each month from now on. Like I just started to change it, but I'm not taking like people out and putting them like back in. That's their choice, and they know it like in the beginning of
Mm-hmm.
the month or 2 months or whatever. But the content is changing from month to month, and with new programs coming out and everything, it helps, I think, like everybody. Of course I have the relationships outside of the group, but as like a group, it is our community. And today we had somebody share in there a very like personal thing. And even though these people don't know each other, the amount of support that she got just from having like people who she had like seen in the for months or for weeks, just having that support, like it helped her so much. So
Oh,
that's
that's
just
awesome.
all over with them. But like I said, the group, like for me, it works because it keeps everybody together in one. And I don't know, that's just
Yeah, no, and that's what I mean. Like, if you have found a different format that works for you, I think you should continue that. And I do know some coaches that I've even heard it on different calls. I think there was actually a National Wake Up Call on free groups, and that was kind of the style of the way that they did things. They kept it the community type based, but then deleted the content, and then it was all new content each month. So it's all about what I think is going to work for you. And sometimes it might be trial and error. But I definitely think, Riley, if that's something that you have found successful for you, then definitely keep doing that. So. Anybody else?
Okay, so man, I just recently started hitting numbers, and that's because I changed up my game for a second. I've had an ongoing group for 3.5 years already, and any customer that is mine that I get, like a client, I always make a welcome, and Marcy's in it, so she knows what I'm talking about. I always make like dramatic entrance for them. Like I tell them, hey guys, welcome this person to our family, and I call it family, and we've been a family for 3.5 years. And I say how we met, I say how we reconnected, I say what they're excited about, and every time, like let's say somebody signs up for Beachbody On Demand, I put Beachbody On Demand on there. And every time someone signs up for Shakeology, I put a big old Shakeology sign on there. So like I describe their picture in a paragraph form as well. And it's been kind of, it was slow for a while, and I was like, man, what can I do to change up the game? So what I saw something from Jennifer Greenberg, and she showed like her talking on the phone, and like her actually doing like that voice video message thing. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try that. So I took off a lot of apps on my phone because there's no room on here. I took off a lot of apps, and I got Messenger, and I have been messaging people via voice message and video message. And that completely changed the game on me like 2-3 months ago when Jennifer Greenberg posted that. And even to this day, like I was at HEB and I was like messaging people. But people like to hear my voice a lot better than they like to see me text, because I don't know if y'all follow me, but when I post a picture, I don't just post like 3 words. I post a whole freaking paragraph, but I give it value. But not everybody has the time to read my stuff. Like only if they want to take the time, they read it. But it means a lot more to them that I'm messaging them and I'm saying, hey man, I saw that you liked it. I really appreciate it, what Jenna taught me. But like through voice message, because they hear the emotion in me as opposed to just posting it in large caps. So, I mean, that's something that's been working for me. And I've been talking to a lot more people lately, and they respond back in text, but I always respond like in like some goofy little like bunny ears or whatever, like just to make it more interesting. But they like that better, and they feel like maybe they can like, I don't know, I feel like they're more interested in the conversation.
No, I completely agree with you. I think that the voice message, the face-to-face, like Jenna's talked about, I mean, it's all about them hearing you or seeing you to really, again, building that trust and building that relationship is so much better than messaging and hiding behind, just what you're writing.
Exactly. But I don't think I have a free challenge group. I think basically anybody that's my client, I put in there and I never take out. And I shout people out so basically I saw Jenna's page, I saw Jennifer's page, and I thought, like, if I can't get coaches, I might as well act like a leader with my clients. So I started treating that group like they were my coaches, but they weren't really. Like, I just what Jenna and Jennifer do on their pages, I do on my client page. And there's been clients that have reached me, like, you can see who's looking at your stuff. And there's been clients that I've seen look at my stuff and finally one day message me like, Sophie, like, what how can you help me? And that's basically how it's been for me. But anyways,
that's awesome.
I'll let someone else talk.
You like that. All right. Well, we're at 9:30. Is there anybody else that wanted to add anything before we jumped off? No? Okay. Jenna, was there anything you wanted to add? No? Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I will post the recording in the group once I have it, once it's finished. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Talk with you guys later.